Hello again, Beatle fans, and welcome to another episode of Beatlemania Revisited. Now, I'm sure it won't be a surprise to you to find out that in the fall of 2019, they announced the nominees for the Juno, the musical Juno Awards here in Canada. And shockingly, I was once again not nominated. And now, considering the fact that I started playing guitar when I was 13 years old, so I'm now on a streak. It's like 56 consecutive years without a Juno nomination. So it's a bit disappointing. But I take tremendous consolation in the fact that my cousin Ray Coburn not only was nominated for a Juno Award, but he won a Juno Award in the categories of musician, songwriter, and producer. So the family's very proud of Ray. He was one of the founding members of the band Honeymoon Suite. Remember one of their songs? I got a new girl now, and she's a lot like you. Oh, I loved all those songs. Anyway, he went on to become a very gifted songwriter and music producer. He's appeared on stage around the world with major celebrities: Corey Hart, Alana Miles, Crash Test Dummies, Andy Kim, Carol Pope, and a host of others. If you go to his website, you see the amazing background and music and all the different appearances he's had with major stars. I saw him recently, a few years ago. He was the keyboard player for Kim Mitchell. It was a great show. But more recently than that, or most recently, he's been touring the world with Roger Hodgson of Supertramp. They had this highly acclaimed Supertramp show, and Ray's up on stage playing all those great Supertramp songs. I haven't seen the show yet, but when it comes around this way again soon, I hope to see him. He was playing, they did this show at Casino Rama recently in Orillia, and Ray was born in Orillia. So Ray's one of my younger cousins. You know, when you come from a large Italian family, you have I have over 40 first cousins, and Ray was one of the younger cousins. He came along later, but I think in the family gene pool, we saved the best for last. Anyway, all these years, Ray has never played a Beatles song with me. A bit disappointing. I'm still holding out some hope for that in the future. But the musical genius that he is, he may not realize that the year that he was born, 1962, in Orillia, Ontario, the Beatles were in the EMI recording studios with George Martin. And they had recently released the song Love Me Do, which they wrote. And it went to number 17 on the hit parade in the UK. And their producer, George Martin, said, that's good, but it's not good enough. You need to have a number one single hit. And none of the songs you've written so far that you've presented to me are good enough to be number one songs. So George went out looking, and he found a song written by a guy named Mitch Murray called How Do You Do It? And he said to the Beatles, you're going to record this song. It will be a number one song. So the Beatles reluctantly recorded the song, and you can hear it on the Beatles anthology CD. They recorded the song, but they said, please don't release it. We want to be songwriters. We want to sing only our own songs, and this song doesn't have enough of an edge for us. We want to sort of establish a certain sound, and, just don't release it. George says, well, I'll give you a week or so, and if you can't come back with something better than this song, which I know will be a number one hit, then that's the song we're going to release. So they said, okay. They came back a week later with Please Please Me. Last night I said these words to my girl. That whole thing. And George Martin said, that's a number one song. So they released Please Please Me. It went to number one. And then they released the Please Please Me LP, and the rest is history. So what about the song How Do You Do It? Well, that song was handed to Gary and the Pacemakers, and sure enough, it became a number one song on the hit parade for Gary and the Pacemakers, who also did songs like Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying, all that, But in 1962, the year that my cousin Ray Coburn was born, the Beatles recorded in the studio their version of How Do You Do It, which I'm going to do for you right now. And when I was a teenager and I first heard this song, the thing that really sort of caught my attention, my ears sort of perked up when I heard this little chord riff. So, ooh, what is that? How do you play that? I'm sure that Tony or Frank showed me how to do it at some point. So, here's the song that the Beatles recorded, never released it. It was going to be their very first number one single, but they wrote "Please Please Me" just in the nick of time. It's a great little bit of Beatle history. So here is "How Do You Do It." How do you do what you do to me? I wish I knew. If I knew how you did it to me, I would do it to you. How do you do what you do to me? I'm feeling blue. Wish I knew how you did it to me, but I haven't a clue. Give me a feeling in my heart, like an arrow passing through it. Suppose that you think you're very smart, but won't you tell me how you do? How do you do what you do to me? If I only knew, then perhaps I'd fall for me like I fell for you. Give me a feeling in my heart, like an arrow passing through it. Suppose that you think you're very smart, but won't you tell me how you do? How do you do what you do to me? If I only knew, then perhaps you'd be falling for me like I fell for you. If I knew how you did it to me, I would do it to you. Yeah! It's "How Do You Do It?" A #1 single for Gary and the Pacemakers, but recorded first by the Beatles in 1962, the year that Ray was born, our family member and Juno Award winner. Never released until we heard it on the anthology CD. So there you go. Another episode of Beatlemania Revisited. Thanks for watching. See you next time.